Symposia and Kotobos game. In ancient Greece, symposia were gatherings where men would recline on couches, drinking wine and engaging in intellectual discussions. But as the night progressed, these events often turned into wild parties, with a popular game called Kotobos. Players would flick wine dregs at a target, with the winner receiving applause, or sometimes a kiss. This mix of philosophy, revelry, and competitive spirit was a hallmark of Greek social life. Spartan customs, Spartan society valued discipline and strength above all. Boys left home at age 7 to join the agog, a brutal training regimen where they learned to endure hardship, survive with minimal resources, and fight with ruthless efficiency. They were encouraged to steal food to hone their cunning, but faced severe punishment if caught. This strict upbringing forged them into fearless warriors, fiercely loyal to Sparta, and created a culture that prioritized military prowess over all else. Athenian courtesans. Unlike ordinary prostitutes, hetairai were high-class courtesans in Athens, known for their beauty, intelligence, and wit. These women were educated and could engage in philosophical debates, which set them apart in a male-dominated society. Wealthy Athenian men sought their company not just for pleasure, but also for stimulating conversation. They often lived more independently than other women of their time, enjoying luxurious lives while influencing politics and social trends. Public baths. Greek public baths were social hubs where men and women gathered to bathe, relax, and socialize. These facilities, adorned with marble and mosaics, provided spaces for conversation, exercise, and sometimes gossip. For the Greeks, cleanliness was a virtue, and bathing was part of daily life. The baths also served as a setting for political discussions and casual interactions, making them a place where both physical and social needs were met. Festivals and rituals. The Greeks celebrated many festivals dedicated to their gods, with the Dionysian festivals being among the most famous. These wild events honored Dionysus, the god of wine and ecstasy, with processions, music, dancing, and plenty of wine. Participants often wore masks and costumes, and performances included plays with themes ranging from the humorous to the obscene. The line between worship and revelry blurred, with celebrations lasting for days, emphasizing the Greeks' love for life. Gender fluidity. Ancient Greece had a more fluid understanding of gender, especially in its mythology. Hermaphroditus, a deity with both male and female attributes, symbolized this duality. The myth tells of Hermaphroditus merging with the nymph Salmacis, embodying both masculine and feminine qualities. This story reflects the Greeks' complex views on gender, suggesting that divine beings transcended human binaries. Such myths offered a space where ideas about identity could be explored beyond rigid norms. The Theatre of Dionysus. The Theatre of Dionysus in Athens was a central place for entertainment, where citizens gathered to watch plays that explored themes of love, war, and the gods. Among the most popular were satyr plays, known for their crude humor and bawdy scenes. These performances, dedicated to Dionysus, allowed the audience to laugh and reflect on the more scandalous aspects of life. Actors wore exaggerated masks, and the chorus danced, creating a spectacle that was both enlightening and provocative. Temples of Aphrodite. The temples dedicated to Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty, were places of worship where followers sought blessings in matters of the heart. Some rituals involved offerings of flowers and incense, while others were more sensual, with priestesses believed to serve as intermediaries between mortals and the goddess. These temples were known for their beauty and adorned with sculptures and art that celebrated love in all its forms, reflecting the Greeks' reverence for the power of desire. Gymnasium culture. The gymnasium was more than just a place for physical training. It was a center for socializing, education, and philosophical debate. Young men gathered there to engage in athletics, training their bodies through wrestling, running, and discus throwing, all in the nude, as the Greeks admired the male form. Philosophers would often converse with athletes, turning the gymnasium into a place where both mind and body were honed. It was a key institution in Greek life, blending sport with intellectual growth, love between mentors and youth. In ancient Greece, the relationship between an older mentor, Erastes, and a younger student, Eromenos, was common. These relationships, often involving guidance, education, and affection, were considered a crucial part of a young man's path to adulthood. While physical intimacy could be an element, the emphasis was on mentoring, with the older man teaching skills and virtues. This mentorship was a culturally accepted practice, seen as a way to prepare young men for their future roles in society. Sacred Band of Thebes. The Sacred Band of Thebes was an elite military unit made up of 150 pairs of male lovers, chosen for their loyalty to each other. The idea was that soldiers would fight more bravely alongside their beloved, creating a formidable fighting force. This unit proved successful, winning key battles against larger armies, including the Spartans. The intense emotional bonds between soldiers created a powerful unity, making the sacred band both a military innovation and a symbol of love's strength. Phallus, worship. In ancient Greek rituals, the phallus was often celebrated as a symbol of fertility and power. Festivals like the Dionysia involved processions with large phallic symbols, intended to invoke the blessings of Dionysus and promote good harvests. These rituals were performed with great joy and humor, as the Greeks believed that honoring fertility would ensure prosperity. While such displays might seem odd today, they reflect the Greeks' deep respect for nature's cycles and the life-giving forces of the earth. Women in Sparta. Spartan women had more freedom than those in other Greek city-states. They were encouraged to exercise, participate in athletic competitions, and manage their households while their husbands were at war. This physical training aimed to make them strong mothers for the next generation of warriors. Spartan women also had a reputation for speaking their minds, even in public settings, which was unusual for the time. This autonomy contributed to the unique social structure of Sparta, where women played a vital role. Erotic poetry of Sappho. Sappho, a renowned poet from the island of Lesbos, wrote verses that celebrated love, beauty, and desire, often directed towards other women. Her poems explored the depths of human emotions, capturing the joy and sorrow of romantic longing. Though only fragments of her work survive, her legacy as a symbol of female passion and poetic talent endures. Sappho's poetry provided a rare glimpse into the intimate lives of women, revealing a world where love was a source of inspiration and artistic expression. Role of hetairai. Hetairai were more than just companions. They were sophisticated courtesans who played a key role in Greek social life. They attended symposia where they conversed with philosophers and politicians, often influencing the discussions. Unlike wives, hetairai were educated and could read, write, and engage in intellectual debates. This made them sought-after company among Athens' elite, as their wit and charm could rival that of the men. Their unique position in society blurred the lines between social classes. Courting rituals. Courting in ancient Greece involved elaborate rituals, especially during the Anthesteria, a festival dedicated to Dionysus. Young men would present their beloved with small gifts or engage in playful competitions to win their favor. Poetry, music, and even athletic contests were part of the courting process, emphasizing the importance of beauty, art, and physical prowess. These rituals reflected the value Greeks placed on love as a source of inspiration. and the idea that winning affection required both effort and creativity. The pederastic ideal. The ideal of pederasty in ancient Greece was centered around a mentorship relationship between an older man and a younger boy. This bond was believed to be beneficial, fostering the younger's intellectual and moral development while cultivating deep emotional ties. While these relationships could include physical intimacy, the emphasis was often on the exchange of knowledge and the pursuit of virtue. The tradition, rooted in cultural norms, was seen as a way to transmit values and maintain social order across generations. Nudity in athletics. Athletic competitions in ancient Greece, such as those held at the Olympic Games, required participants to compete naked. This practice, called gymnos, meaning nude, symbolized physical excellence and the celebration of the human form. Nudity was not seen as shameful, but rather as a tribute to the gods, especially Zeus. Competing in the nude also reflected the Greek admiration for physical beauty and strength, allowing athletes to show their dedication and training in its purest form. Sexual myths of gods. Greek mythology is filled with stories of gods who frequently pursued romantic and sexual escapades. Zeus, in particular, was known for his many affairs with both goddesses and mortals, often transforming into animals or other forms to achieve his desires. These tales, while highlighting the power of the gods, also served as allegories for natural phenomena and human emotions. They provided explanations for the world's mysteries, illustrating the Greeks' attempt to understand the complexities of life and passion. Male beauty standards. In ancient Greece, beauty was highly valued, especially in men. A well-proportioned body with muscular definition and symmetry was considered a sign of virtue and inner strength. Statues of young men, known as kouroi, celebrated the ideal of youth and vigor, representing the physical perfection that Greeks admired. This emphasis on aesthetics extended to public spaces, where athletic contests showcased not only skill, but also the beauty of the competitors, reflecting the Greek belief that physical and moral excellence were intertwined. Dionysian orgies. Dionysian orgies were rituals held in honor of Dionysus, the god of wine, fertility, and ecstasy. Participants, often dressed in animal skins and masks, would engage in wild dancing, drinking, and sometimes ecstatic rites that pushed social boundaries. These celebrations aimed to transcend ordinary life, allowing participants to connect with the divine through a release of inhibitions. The orgiastic nature of these festivals reflected the Greeks' belief in the power of wine and ritual to bring about spiritual renewal. Sexual slavery. In ancient Greece, slavery was an accepted institution, and some enslaved individuals were forced into sexual servitude. Enslaved people, including those captured during wars, could be sold into households or to brothels, where they were expected to serve their owners in various ways. This aspect of Greek society highlights the darker side of their civilization, where the status and freedom of individuals could drastically vary. Despite their achievements in philosophy and arts, Greek society's dependence on slavery reveals a complex social structure. Athenian gender roles. Athenian society imposed strict roles on women, confining them mostly to the household. They were expected to manage the home, raise children, and produce heirs, while their participation in public life was limited. Despite this, some women, like the hetairai or priestesses, found ways to exert influence outside the home. Athenian drama, especially in comedies by playwrights like Aristophanes, often satirized these gender roles, showing that while restrictive, they were also a topic of discussion and critique. Erotic art in temples. Erotic art was not only present in private homes, but also in some temples, particularly those dedicated to Aphrodite, the goddess of love. Statues, reliefs, and mosaics depicting intimate scenes adorned these spaces, reminding worshippers of the divine aspects of love and desire. These works of art served as symbols of fertility and the sacred connection between physical and spiritual realms. Temples of Aphrodite became places where the boundaries between devotion and desire blurred, reflecting a culture that saw divinity in all aspects of life. In conclusion, ancient Greece was a civilization rich with culture, innovation, and complexity, but it also held many surprising and controversial aspects that might be unexpected today. From their unique views on love, sexuality, and social roles to their rituals and myths, these facts reveal a society that was both deeply philosophical and unapologetically human. By exploring these lesser-known sides, we gain a more complete picture of what life was like in ancient Greece, beyond the classical ideals of philosophy and art. Understanding this multifaceted history helps us appreciate how ancient Greek culture has shaped and contrasted with our modern values. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like my videos.